understanding about Salesforce.com?
For me, I'm completely brand new. I tried to read some books,
Okay.
and it hasn't been proven very helpful. So, and nothing for me.
Okay. You, Ross?
And that's true for me as well. Yeah, for me as well. I don't have any background in Salesforce yet.
Okay. Since you told like you are from Siebel background, let me know what is your roles and responsibility in Siebel and what is Siebel actually?
The role I have in Siebel is I'm the technical architect for the team. I do a lot of development as well. Been doing it since 2008 with Reliant. Before that, I did it with Shell. And that's pretty much what I do. And also some small production support as well when things are slower.
What kind of projects you worked on?
Well, we've done a lot of integration work with our SAP system. We've done an upgrade recently to 8.2. Now we're working on OpenUI and working on rolling that out in October on the 8.2 e-energy platform.
Okay, good. Yep. My first question is, what is your understanding about a software? John?
About this one specifically?
No, generic. What is a software?
Software is the ability to take inputs and data,
okay,
and meet business needs, business processes, and be able to meet the customer's demand in hopefully a fast way.
You, Shing?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
What is a generic software? What is the definition for software? Simple.
Simple?
Yeah.
I think John did a pretty good job. I don't know how much more else I can add to it. He's the technical architect.
Fine. It's not like about technical article. I'm just asking a simple question. What is your understanding about what you think about what is a software? Johnson, are you there?
I'm here. Well, things that I can automate to do things with.
Good.
Code to automate doing things.
Good. Good answer. Like a thing which is going to automate some process, you can tell. Right. And my second question is, when is our first software was introduced in the market?
Oh gosh, I have no idea.
You, Johnson?
I don't know.
Okay. In the year of 1960s only, see, IBM has introduced first enterprise software, nothing but mainframe systems. Right. So you heard about mainframe systems, right?
A long time ago in the 80s.
Yep. Now my third question is, see, we got a software on the only in the year of 1960s. But in our world, we started running our business from the year of 1800s. Right? So how would they run their business without any software? You got my question?
Lots of resources, lots of human resources.
Yeah, exactly. You can able to see my screen?
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Yep.
See, what was my third question? We started running our business from the year of 1800s. Hope that time there was no software. How the companies, like, have you heard about company Robert Bosch?
No.
I have not.
Okay, fine. It's like a manufacturing industry. Okay, it's more than 150 years old company. Okay, and since when the company was started, there was no software because we got a first software in the year of 1960s. Right. Now imagine how the company would run their business without a software. Can you give your suggestions?
Yeah, lots of files and folders that were in boxes. Lots of customer data in files and folders.
Yep, good. You might be telling like it might be they might be maintaining everything through records or files. Okay, and you can call this a documents too. Sorry. Everything is done in, you can again tell us paperworks. You understood? Like if they want to maintain any information, let's say the customer information, employee information, stock information, or vendor information, everything they want to write in a papers, they want to store as a records or a file or documents. And you can call completely everything as an manual work. Alright. Now my fourth question is, what are all the drawbacks in maintaining every information in records, files or documents, or everything is a manual work? What are the drawbacks you will consider? Johnson, this time question for you.
Okay, there's just a lot of it. There will be tons and tons of it, and people have to carry them all over the place.
Okay. Then what else? John, from your side?
Yeah, as Johnson said, a lot of paperwork and very difficult to get to it quickly.
Okay.
To be able to respond quickly.
Anything else?
You have to really you have to search for stuff. You don't have it, the stuff when you need it, when you want it.
Okay, you can tell him like it takes much time consumption for searching a record or information, right?
Right.
Then you can tell you need lots of maintenance. If you want to maintain a customer information, see for example, sorry, if I'm running business, I should maintain each and every customer information in a proper way. If I lose a single customer detail, end of the day, I lose a customer information. Okay, it leads to a loss of a business only. So main thing is, what all the customer information you have, we should maintain it properly. And one more thing, there is no safety or security, you can tell. It also relies on the same concept. In case of any national calamities, theft, okay, if you lose any documents or file, it again consists of customer information, and it is what your business is. So you can tell lots of drawbacks in this. By considering all the drawbacks, after 1960s, after software was introduced, each and every company, they came to know about software and they tried to move to software. Right, and here comes my another question. If a company decides to move into software today, is it possible to completely move into software the next day? John?
I'm going to say, based on my experience, no, but I understand Salesforce model is a little different.
Good. Johnson, you understood what he is telling?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question, please?
See, if any company who works on manual method like papers, files, documents, and they understood there are lots of drawback in doing paperwork. There is no safety, security. It's much time consumption. There is no like flexibility. You can tell lots of drawbacks, and they have decided to move into a software today. Is it possible to move into a software the very next day? Like a complete whole business can be moved into a software?
I think with companies, anything doing the next day is pretty not possible, especially when you have to try to replicate everything in digital form. It'll take time.
Yeah.
Okay. And So what would be the procedure or a process if a company wants to move to a software? Let's take any manufacturing industry. Okay. Can you tell me like any of the famous manufacturing industry which you like? John, it's your wish.
Manufacturing like Walmart or retail companies like that, or?
Yeah, it might be any like product-based company who want to be completely moved to software, and
Yeah.
they should be completely in the manufacturing industry. Okay, let's take any company. Let's take company like XYZ, for example. Okay, if they want to move to software, right? So my question is it possible to develop a software by a company XYZ?
It is possible.
How? How it's possible?
Well, you have a business case or cases.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have experts. You're going to write business requirements. You're going to get people on board to go through those requirements and those documents, do some development, do some testing, do some UAT,
Okay.
and then eventually deploy and roll it out to the production environment.
Okay. Good. See, if they want to develop a software, first they want to follow this SDLC model. So have you heard about this SDLC model? Software
Development Lifecycle.
Good. Okay. So can you tell me what are the phases comes under the software development lifecycle? First phase you can tell us analysis.
Analysis and discovery.
Okay. Analysis and discovery, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next step.
Requirements gathering.
Good. Then?
Possibly at that point development and
yeah, before that again we need to follow on design phase.
Design, right. Design and develop, right.
Okay, next comes development.
Unit/system testing.
Okay, you can completely call as a testing phase. Next.
Depending on what you're doing, if you didn't include it, yeah, deployment or training.
Okay, deployment. And finally, we need to form a maintenance team. Right? If you want to develop any kind of software, we need to go through all the sound phases. And how much time duration will it take to develop a software by using all the sound phases?
Depends on 1 and 2.
Yep. For example, as I said, if a company is like Robert Bosch, it's more than 150 years old company, and you may think how big the company is and how many verticals of business they may be doing. Okay. If they want to analyze such a company, okay, for a simple calculation, I'm just taking as it would take nearly 2 months. It will be 2 months for analyze a companies like Bosch. Okay. And for gathering requirements, again, I would say like it would take 1 month. It's like going to be like minimum time duration, not like a maximum. I'm just calculating how much time duration will take for each and every phases. And altogether for design phase, development, testing, deployment and maintenance. Altogether I'm making as again one more 4 months. Now altogether we require minimum of 7 months. Alright, Johnson, you understood what I'm telling?
Yes, I do.
Yep. If you want to develop a software for any company, the time duration which is required to develop a software would be like minimum 7 months. Maximum might be vary, but I'm just for simple calculation, I'm just taking as 7 months. Okay. And what would be the financial expenses now? Since it's going to be like on premises, now companies like XYZ, they need to take care of all the expenses. Just imagine if they are spending some $100 per phase, they're going to spend $700 for 7 months. So for 7 phases. Okay. And this $700 is going to be only cost for developing a software. And now if they want to buy a software from a service providers, again they may fix some price, for example $5,000, they want to pay to get the software for their own. Then if you want to use a software, they need to spend on the infrastructure. Like they want to buy a servers, network connectivity, systems, right? Again, they are going to spend nearly, again, $5,000 for the infrastructure. Got it. Now imagine if any company like Bosch or XYZ, they want to move into software, they need to spend nearly $10,700 and they need to wait 7 months. John?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd like to get a project for that cheap.
You understood, like
I see your point.
Yep. If you take any company, if they want to decided to move to software, they need to wait for 7 months. Then imagine, then for 7 months, they are going to struggle with all the feedbacks, like maintenance or safety, security, lots of manpower, right? And it's going to be like, we can tell it's like maintaining in a traditional way, it's very difficult for them. So by seeing this, a person you might be knowing, a great personality, we call it as Mr. Mark Benioff. I like to explain about him. So he is one of the pilot batch for the company Oracle, right? And what is it? He came out of the company Oracle and he came with a good concept, and he said, if you want to move into a software, or if you want to implement a new software, you don't want to wait for 7 months and no need to spend these many dollars. This concept is like, you wait for a month and just spend like $3,000. I can provide the same software which any manufacturing industry is required. Johnson, here comes my question. So is it possible to provide the same software which any manufacturing company required to give within a month and within some $3,000? Is it possible?
It is possible with Salesforce, right? But it's not. I understand. I get your point as well.
Yep. So how it's possible in Salesforce? So that's the reason my first question was, what is your understanding of Salesforce I asked? And you said like, no, I read only some articles and I came to know what is Salesforce. Now you are telling everything is possible in Salesforce.
Well, a lot of things are possible for Salesforce.
Right.
Yep. I'll tell how it was possible. See, if you take any manufacturing industry, there are 3 different main verticals you can tell. One is sales business, one is marketing, and another thing is, call center or services you can tell.
I haven't seen call center spelled like that since I worked in London.
Sorry?
I haven't seen call center spelled like that since I worked in London. That's cool.
Yep. So here in India we call it as a sales, marketing and call center, or services also, it's fine. Right. So what he did, he understood like any company, they required sales business, marketing and services, or call center. So what he did, he understood each and every sales business for manufacturing industry, marketing and services, and he came up with a ready-made software for sales, marketing and call center, right? And he started to provide this software through SAAS. How do you know what is SAAS? Johnson?
Software
it's been a long time.
Software as service.
Good. Software as your service.
Got it.
Can you tell me what is software as a service, John? Any idea?
I'm assuming in something like this, in this case, it's something like a cloud-based solution. Something where you don't have the overhead of hardware, and that the sales, marketing, call center components are quickly adaptable.
Okay, let me explain. See, what he did is, he made a software for sales, marketing and call center which may satisfy any business requirement for any manufacturing industry. And he started to sell all the softwares by using software as a service. It's nothing but he is going to sell a software as a service only. Means, for example, if you like to move to London, okay, and you're going to spend your vacations only for some 10 days, and you have decided like for the 10 days vacation, you have planned like you want to stay in a very comfortable apartment or flats, right? For the 10 days purpose, will you build a new house or apartment, or else you go and you take a rent for the same, with the same feel comfortable, all the what to tell flexibilities? Will you go and buy a new house, or else you go and get for a rent? Which one you will prefer?
John? I'm going for the rent and not the building.
Yeah, obviously, because anyone will think the same. Only for 10 days, instead of building a new house for staying only for 10 days, instead of that I can go for a same same like what you thought, a same apartment, and you can pay a rent for them for staying only for 10 days. Instead of buying for it one, you will pay a rent for them. Similarly, he introduced softwares also in the same method. If you want to use a software, why you are going to buy your software for your own purpose? Instead of that, use a software, how much time or how much time period required, and you pay for it. It's enough. You understood?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Yes.
So like this, introduce a concept called software as a service, and this software as a service is possible only if you have an internet connection. Right? See, and here comes my another question is, see, if I'm giving a sales software to a company A and company B, how much, how much sure you can tell like it may satisfy both companies' business requirement?
What was
I'm
the last
sorry,
part of the question?
See, if I'm giving the sales software for John company and as well as Johnson company, okay, you both are in manufacturing industry and of different products. My question is, will the software which I given to you both, will it satisfy your business requirement?
Well, I guess with any software, some sort of customization needs to be done.
Good. Good. See, that is what. If I given a software for a companies like A and B, both are in manufacturing industry but of different products. If the software given by me, if it's not satisfying the business requirement of a company B, then what I can do is I can customize the same sales software based upon the business requirement of company B. So that would take a time duration of 1 month minimum. Okay. Since I'm going to provide the software as a service, it would take only $3,000. It's again a subscription basis. How much time you need, you pay for it and you can use it. Understood?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. And like this, software as a service came into a market. Now you tell me, if any company wants to move into software, will they go for this traditional software system which would take a time duration of 7 months and they want to spend $1,000? Else, within a day I can provide the same sales, marketing or call center, and within some $3,000. Which thing you will prefer? Johnson?
Choice 2.
I'll prefer the cheaper one.
Yep, because for running a business, any company CFO will be thinking like, I want to reduce the financial expenses. So they will go for software service. Like this, every company started using this software service from the year of 1999. Because the software service has been introduced from the year 1999. Right? Now what happened? Now every company started using this software service, most of the companies. And later they again came up with a requirement, can you provide any other service for my company? Right? again, what the Benioff did, he again analyzed each and every companies, and he understood maintaining the infrastructure is a big deal for any company. Like if you want to maintain infrastructure, first you need lots of space for placing the servers. You need lots of manpower to maintain the server. A server should maintain proper temperature, like it should be proper maintained in proper ups and downs, right? And you can tell lots of difficulties in maintaining a infrastructure, you can tell. So what he did, he told like you don't need to worry about your infrastructure. I'll completely take care of your infrastructure. And he started to provide infrastructure as a service. John, you understood what is infrastructure as a service?
I believe so. So all the servers and back-end processes that run on databases, etc., are no longer going to be maintained in your data center. They're going to be in the cloud or something like that.
Yep. You, Johnson?
Yeah, I can. It's like Rackspace or Carpathia, sort of some of the infrastructure as a service.
Yep. See, in our traditional software system, everything was on premises, right? Now after this IAAS, everything you called as on cloud, or you can tell us on demand. Like if you want to run your business, if you have a laptop with internet connection, it's enough, right? You can develop any software from anywhere. Like you no need of any premises, no need to worry about your software, no need to worry about your hardware or infrastructure. Okay, if you have a laptop with Wi-Fi, that's sufficient. Else now if you have mobile devices, that's good, right? You can develop any software from anywhere. That's after this infrastructure as a service, right? And parallelly introduce PAAS, like platform as a service. Can you guess what's the use of this platform here, Johnson?
Well, I think I can think of an analogy for it. It's like a SharePoint, or it's like a SAP. It sort of give you all the materials that you need to make things, to write software to make it to happen.
Any idea from John? Yeah, that sounds good to me. Yeah, everything's provided for you on the platform to all development and all processes.
Okay, and see, I'll tell, like, for example, if I'm giving a sales, marketing and call center for any company, and if they are telling the software which you given for me, it's not satisfying my business requirement, right? And each and every time they may request to customize the softwares based upon their demands or request. Instead of that, what Mark Benioff did, he introduced a platform also as a service, so that if they if they want to customize softwares based upon their requirement by using this platform with some languages, okay, they themselves can use this platform and they can customize it based upon their requirement. No need to each and every time request a Salesforce.com persons. You understood what I said?
Yes.
John?
Yes. Yes.
So what you will be doing in Siebel? Let me know. Like if in case of any customizations, right? What will be doing in Siebel?
So a lot of the times we develop new code and we compile it into what we call a repository file, and then we have to move it on to the application servers.
Yeah. Similarly, here also, Salesforce had given a platform. A platform is, we call it as force.com, and we are using a language called Apex and framework as Visualforce. Right now, this SAAS, IAAS, and PAAS, these are the three core concepts of what is cloud computing is. Right, and in the year of 2004, the company came into public, and in this year only he named the company name as Salesforce.com. Is an enterprise company based on cloud computing concepts, provides the softwares to the market like sales, marketing, call centers, and we do have lots of software, work.com, chatter, and you can tell lots of softwares. Right? Initially they started with the concepts on CRM, and later they concentrated in all the areas in the market. Right? So this is what my introduction what is Salesforce and how Salesforce came into a market. John, any questions?
No, it's good information.
You,
Johnson?
Yeah, I have visited this before, so yes, it's good information.
Yep. And do you receive the contents of what are the sessions and what are the concepts we're going to discuss in our sessions?
I received nothing.
Okay, I thought of sharing it.
Yeah, I haven't received anything either.
Okay, and yep, I'll tell them to share the contents as well, like what are the concepts we're going to discuss on a daily basis. Yep. Now, question for John. You're working under CRM domain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, can you explain me some few highlighted points what is CRM?
Customer relationship management.
Good.
As you know, the top three ones are customer sales, marketing, taking care of your customers through call center. Anything where there's a touch to a customer can be in CRM.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? Now my question is, why CRM? Why we need CRM?
Well, at least in our case, I can tell you our marketers are kind of siloed from the rest of the company and resources and data, and so we need to kind of have what we call a 360-degree view of the customer. Mm-hmm. That's accessible by our customer care team, which we call our call center customer care team, as well as the marketers and sales.
Good. Any idea from Johnson? Any suggestions?
Well, you want to make sure that the left hand knows what the right hand is doing, and we don't want to make any customer angry by making them wait for information or things done. So
good. Yep. And this question might be like similar, but there is some slight difference. When we need a CRM, in which case we need to implement CRM.
When do we need it?
Yep.
I would say, honestly, as soon as you have customers, you've got to manage those relationships. Okay. And that might be a simplistic answer, but I mean, as soon as you get going, as Johnson said, you've got an irate customer. Next thing you know, that's going to go up the trail, and if you can manage that better through your CRM platform, it gives visibility to everybody in the company.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Johnson, any additional points from your side? When actually,
I was going to say,
yeah.
When do you need CRM? Apparently, according to my company, yesterday. So it needs to be done as soon as possible.
Okay. Yeah. See, if you take any manufacturing industry, here in case of any classroom training, I'll be drawing in classification of manufacturing industry, but here slightly want to adjust. Like I cannot draw here. Here I'm new to this GoToMeeting. Right. So here I'm telling first thing. If you take any manufacturing industry, you can again classify any industry into two different types. First part is comes under before manufacturing. Second is after manufacturing, right? Can you tell what is before manufacturing and after manufacturing in terms of any business, like a product-based company? John?
Yeah, so before manufacturing is before you actually have made the product and released it to the consumer.
Johnson?
And then after manufacturing is, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt there.
Matthew, I'm not understanding your question. Could you please repeat that?
Yep, sure. See, if you take any manufacturing industry, right, any product-based company, like if you take any company like Dell or HP, any company is good. We can call it as a manufacturing company. They may classify into two different types. One is before manufacturing, another one is after manufacturing.
Okay.
Right? Now I'm asking what is before manufacturing in terms of business and what is after manufacturing?
Well,
Understood?
before manufacturing, you have to design, you have to actually get the materials, you have to build it, you have to market it, and you need to sell it, right?
Yeah. Good.
Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, yep, absolutely. John, you understood what he's trying to tell?
Yes, yes.
Yep. See, in case of any manufacturing company, a first thing is they need to develop a product. In case of developing a product, we should think about raw materials required for developing a product. Okay, and next comes the design phase, everything. And we may think about a manpower or staffing or HR resources. I can tell lots of stuffs. Alright, and at the end you will be making as a rounded product. So these are all the phases which comes under a before manufacturing. Right? And what all things comes under after manufacturing? John?
Support, distribution.
Okay, support, distribution. Johnson?
Try to sell them some more insights, sell them some more stuff they don't really need. Warranty, I guess that's support. I guess more selling isn't the big one there.
Okay, you can tell us more selling. Right? And here under before manufacturing we can call everything as a resources. Am I right? For designing a product or else for making a complete rounded product, we need lots of resources to make as a rounded product. And we can call it before manufacturing comes under ERP. John, tell me what is ERP stands for?
I cannot remember what it is, but it's like an SAP system and what it does.
Yeah.
It's enterprise resource planning.
Good.
There you go.
All right. ERP nothing but enterprise resource planning. Here before manufacturing completely comes under ERP system. Means we are going to plan the resources for enterprise. Right? What all the resources are required, okay, for an enterprise, we are going to plan under ERP system. Can you tell me what all the ERP systems in our market? And you say like SAP, you started with that. Can you tell what all the companies are concentrated on ERP system? First one, as I told, SAP.
I've done his work in SAP, so.
Okay. Anything else? Johnson?
I don't know of any other names. Couldn't think of them right now.
Okay. Again, Oracle also an ERP system. Microsoft, and you can tell lots of companies also in ERP. Now comes after manufacturing. See, here after manufacturing completely comes under the concept called CRM. And you knew what is CRM stands for. It's customer relationship management. Right? And here now my question is, tell me what are the companies or in CRM?
SAP.
Good.
Yep. Oracle.
Good.
Microsoft Dynamics.
Good.
Salesforce.
Good.
I don't know if they're around anymore, but PeopleSoft.
They are around.
They got.
Okay. And Johnny forgot your main thing. Siebel also is in CRM.
Yeah, Siebel. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Yeah. These are a few examples like what all the companies are involved in CRM system.
Right.
And among this, Salesforce.com, which is recently introduced in the market, and it reached its topest place in the CRM system. Okay, can you tell me why? Why Salesforce.com, which recently came into the market, and it holds the #1 place in CRM. Johnson, this is your time.
Because it's sort of, it's not like these old behemoths that require a million servers and air-conditioned rooms and armed guards and electricity backups. It's all in the cloud. It's just it's sort of the progression of the technology. First it came the internet, and then faster internet, and then cloud stuff, and then it all sort of fell in the right place where it was come into being.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. What all the points you said, everything is right, right? And you, Johnson, from your end, any other suggestions?
Do you mean Ross?
Sorry,
John?
John. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, I mean the same thing. Along the lines of, I really like the armed guard thing. Yeah, just all the resources around hardware, maintenance, all that in your front office, back office solutions.
Yep. And here we can tell it as like Salesforce.com is on cloud, which uses cloud computing concept, or you can tell us on demand also. MS Dynamic is still trying to come in a proper cloud, right? And Salesforce.com, which comes with lot of new features or lot of updates, which is required for a CRM system, right? That's the reason you can tell it still holds the first place in a CRM model or design. Right? You might be heard about like lots of updates or features or there in Salesforce.com compared to any other CRM system. And now, since you have been working in CRM model, you might be knowing how the system had been designed. Ross? Now you need to explain.
I actually don't know.
Sorry?
I don't know the Salesforce, how it was designed.
Yep. Here we are going to design, we are going to discuss how our Salesforce CRM has been designed. Okay?
Okay.
If you take any CRM design or system, it holds 3 different phases. One we call it as before sales. Second one we can call it as after sales. and third one stands under analytics. Right? Now,
So you meant the components of a CRM. Is that what you're meaning?
yep, this is the components of CRM, I can tell.
Okay.
Right? Now, can anyone explain what is a before sales component is? Why we need before sale, or can you tell what all the sub components comes under before sales? And Rose, see, 1 or 2 sessions will be like completely theoretical, so don't think like everything is going to be like theoretical. After finishing this introduction, we'll be moving on to Salesforce, like navigating Salesforce. Right? Is that comfortable with you? John?
Yes, sure.
Because see, I started at 6:40 and we are completely discussing only about theoretical part. After this introduction, I'll be navigating to Salesforce and I'll be explaining everything in a Salesforce our own application. Yep. Now, Johnson, can you tell me like what is a before sales?
Well, I'm thinking like actually wining and dining the people you're trying to sell to, do marketing to get them hooked. You have to wine and dine them to actually get them to buy stuff, and then actually execute the contract or whatever. Is that what you meant?
Yep. See, I'm asking in the view of any manufacturing industry, right? Why they need to use a component called before sale? Like we'll be discussing about before manufacturing, right? What all the things you said for before manufacturing? Ross, you got my question?
Could you repeat it one more time?
Yep. In terms of manufacturing industry, why we are going to use before manufacturing as one, I can tell as classification. I already classified like before manufacturing and after manufacturing, and I explained you what all the terms will comes under before manufacturing and after manufacturing. Right. Similarly, in case of a business, we have 3 different components. First one is before sale, second one is after sale, and third one is analyticals. Now, what is the need of before sale component for any company?
Well, as Johnson said, you need to have marketing, get customers.
Okay.
So you're going to need to have a plan for that.
Okay. Well, see, now if I am coming with the latest, we'll take example for latest Benz model car. Okay, Benz or any BMW, any car. If I'm, designing and, I'm coming up with a latest Benz model car. Now tell me how you will get a customers or how you will sell a new car to the customers. Considering you as a marketing or salesperson for your company, how you will sell latest Benz model or any model car, how you will sell to the customers and how you will get a new customers. What my question, Johnson?
I guess marketing?
Yep, I'm asking what all the ways you will market so that you'll be getting a customers, or else, how will increase your customers.
Marketing?
Commercials, magazines, phone calls, those kind of things. In the case of before sales,
okay,
you have customer loyalty. You have incentives and things like that too.
Sure, you can introduce a term exhibitions also. Okay, in case of any manufacturing industry, let's say I'm coming with a Benz model car or any product which required for manufacturing industry. Let's take a lathe machine. Okay, starting from lathe machine, or it might be a car, automobile product. Okay, if you want to introduce a product to the public, okay, as you mentioned, through magazines, phone call, internet, okay? Like lot of ways are there to exhibit your product, right? Emails or SMS, so that people will come to know what is this new product, right? Here we'll go with an exhibition. Can you tell me like what all the types of exhibitions are there in the market?
Trade shows.
Good. Trade shows.
Conferences.
Good. Conferences. John, any other?
User groups.
Okay. User groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Again, you can tell public relations. Right. And you can tell partner reference, lots of things you can tell for under exhibition. In case of conferences or a trade show, what would be the case here? How you'll be, explaining about your product to the public? Johnson?
How would you present your product to the public?
Yep. In case of trade shows or conference.
Well, you actually show them things and talk to them.
Okay. Like in case of trade shows, you may send some invitation to your partners, like for a business partners or a product which is required for any company. You may invite them and you may doing the trade show or conferences. Right. After, introducing about your product, or if you're giving us, explaining about your product, you'll be getting their information. I think, but public information, you cannot call them as a customer right now. So you can call them as a leads, right? A person who shows interest or who showed interest towards a product.
Right.
Right. And here, I want to know one thing, like you like to take any definitions, or will you understand only through my explanations? Which thing you'll prefer, John and Johnson? Because if you like to take some...
I like your explanations.
you're trying to escape from taking... No, yeah, I understood. Since you're all from CRM background, I understood like you don't need to take any definitions. Now, Johnson?
Yeah, I know a lot of times things mean different things inside Salesforce and out there in other places. So yeah, I would appreciate if you can clarify it for us. And if you know of anything that is specifically going to be on the exam, please highlight them and let us know.
Yeah, sure. So these are things like, only introduction to CRM. Once I enter into salesforce.com, I'll be telling you, highlighting you, these are the certification point of view questions. Right?
Okay.
Yep. So you no need to like take a notes like for definitions or something. You're pretty clear with my explanations. Right?
Yeah. What did you say about notes?
No, like you want to take any definitions from what is about leads or some definitions for any concepts, any upcoming new concepts. I'm asking like whether I need to tell any definition so that you can make a note of it.
Yeah. Definitions for me would be good.
I actually prefer some sort of handout beforehand with these sort of important concepts and words sort of listed out. Okay. So that it's sort of the expectation one has when one takes a class about stuff like that.
Okay. No.
But your explanation would do as well.
Okay. Okay, fine. Then I'll proceed, and if any important things, I'll just highlight it. If you want, you can make a note also. You can write it down so that it may, for referring some purpose, it will be, useful for you to refer later.
Okay.
All right. Now, see, here I explained about leads. So can you tell me what is a lead? Who's a lead?
It's a potential customer.
Good.
Yep.
You can call them as a potential customer. Here in trade shows or conferences, we'll be explaining about a product to the potential customers, and we'll be getting the information about the potential customer to do a business. Else if you want to sell a product, we need to have the information about the potential customer. So we may ask them to write down their mobile or contact information. Else we may ask them to drop their cards, business cards, right? After, see what all the information is required here of the potential customer. John, let's say I've explained about
contact information.
Good. Contact information. Then contact information. Else you can tell us if they are representing some company, we may go with some company information as well, right? And else you can tell us point of contact, POC of a particular potential customer. Then we may calculate about their opportunity if they're representing a company, whether it's a individual opportunity or a specific company's opportunity for the business, right? Johnson, you understood what I'm trying to tell?
Yeah, and I'm thinking maybe like how serious this, like how good of a lead this person is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is what our exhibition motive is. Once we done our exhibition, like it may be a trade show or conference, we may get a potential customer. We should get their contact information or account information, which is called as company information, and the point of contact with the company, and some of the opportunity information, right? And here again, we may, reach them to understand whether they're interested to buy the product after some time. Might be some after 1 week or 2 weeks. Okay. A person may call them to understand whether they are really interested to buy a product, or else they may become a prophet, like they may refer some of their partners or colleagues about a new product. Am I right?
Yes.
Yep. And if they are really interested in the product, they may come to our showroom. Okay, and they may select the product. Again, after the product, they may ask for a price list. And I hope you are much pretty aware about what is a price list here. John?
Well, so for us in electricity, it's the latest price that we can offer customers in different products.
Yep. So based upon the customers also, the price list may vary. If he's a supplier or an individual customer, or it might be a partner, for each and every customer, like a price list may vary. So based upon the price list, we may make a quotation for them. And then after quotation, if he's ready to take a product, then it goes on the purchase order, depends, okay, work order, purchase order, and it depends. So till this, it is generic for any CRM business, starting from exhibition till quotation. Johnson?
Yes.
Are you clear about this before sale process?
Yes.
Yep. These are the terms, or these are the sub-components which comes under before sale. Like if you got a new product, it may be any XYZ product, right? And if you want to sell a product, first we need to start with the exhibition, right? Then we may getting a potential customer. We should get the details about a potential customer, and we may contact them and we may ask them like, are you really interested to buy a product? If they are really interested, then they may visit to our showrooms. We'll be giving a price list as quotations to them, and if they're willing to take a product, again it depends on purchase orders. It depends on how much product they're going to take, everything, right? after here, after quotations, if they are getting our product, here only they will become as our customers. Till that, they are only a potential customer to us. Right? Now comes after sale. Now, Ross, you tell me, now we got a customer. What all the terms which will come under after sale?
So some kind of terms and conditions, contract
Mm-hmm.
with the customer, and maintenance, warranties, support,
Okay,
things like that.
good. Like contracts or warranty, everything will come under after sale process. Now we got a customer, and our main term is like we need to provide them services, or you can call it as support, right? How many ways are there to provide them a service or support? Else, what is a proper way to provide them a good support? Johnson? Like, see,
Well,
if, yep, see,
make
let's say, I'm not getting it. Can you come again?
make sure that the information is correct when they ask for stuff.
Okay. So again, we need some system to provide a proper services or support here,
Right.
right? Let's say if you become one of my customer, okay, and I sold you a product so that you become a customer to me, right? And here, if you are coming with some feedback only, I can give you some support. Else I cannot keep on calling you and asking for, can I provide a support or something, right? So here, if you're coming with some cases, or we can call it as feedbacks about a product, okay, then based upon your feedbacks, I should provide a proper solution to you,
Right.
right? And I also should make a good document, like how often a particular customer comes with the same feedback or a request or with some other drawbacks in the product, so that I can only improve my products again with some next version or releases. So here, based upon the cases and what solution I provided, I should make a documents also here, right? Documents as attachments, you can tell. John, you understood why I'm making documents and attachments?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, fine.
absolutely.
Now comes the last part called analytics. Here, why we need to go for analytics? Like, can
Well,
you tell?
you need some data on your customers' interactions.
Okay.
Analytics will provide you a dimensional way of looking at that, so you can slice and dice all your customer data and see trends, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. You, Johnson, any other suggestions?
Yeah, make sure that you it's a good way to find out where you are as well, right?
Yeah.
These analytics to find out how the company is doing is as well.
Good. See, in terms of CRM, analytics plays a main or very important role for any kind of CRM. Why? Because till now we sold a product, like we marketed, like, and we got a customer here, and we provided good service or support to the customer. With this, like, we cannot increase our business. Like, we can satisfy our existing customer. In terms, if you want to increase our business, we should concentrate more on analytics part. Like, what are the drawbacks you're facing under your product? Like, while providing a good service or support, you are getting lots of cases, nothing but feedbacks, right? And whether you can find a solution for it or not, Based upon this, you want to generate a report for your products or for organization, right? Else from starting from our before sale, each and every stage we can make a report, whether every cycle has been gone correctly or not, or else we face any mistakes or any feedbacks with each and every phases in our sales or else in a service process. We want to make a report and you want to analyze it by using a dashboard, which is easy to understand about a business. Think about a dashboard. It's like dashboard, you know about dashboards, like nothing but a pictorial representation of a business. Right? And we need to forecast it. Forecasting is like, predicting our business or predicting the future of a business, future businesses. So this is what our forecasting, based upon our existing business, how we can improve our business with new products or additional features about our product. So everything will come under analytics part. So this is what an end-to-end sales process in a CRM system, where it starts from before sale and after sale, and it ends with analytics part. Any other questions from John or Johnson? Understood what is before sale, after sale analytics?
Yes.
You, Johnson? Hello, Johnson or the?
I'm sorry, I muted myself. Yes, I do understand. Thank you. Apologize for that.
Yep. So this is what our simple basic understanding about what is a CRM life cycle is, where it starts and where it ends. Right?
Yes.
Yep. And hope we should have some small break for like 2 to 5 minutes. Then we can proceed with our navigate into Salesforce.com. Is that fine? Like now, so time.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Yeah. Now we'll start. I'll tell you how to navigate into Salesforce.
Now, as you go into this, is this a demo system that's available to us?
Sorry?
As we go through this training?
It's nothing but introduction to Salesforce. Okay.
Okay.
And from now, we are going to navigate to Salesforce, and I am going to explain you completely about Salesforce now. Okay. Till that I was telling you why Salesforce. Okay. And what is the simple basic understanding about what is a CRM, why we need CRM. Okay. And how to implement a CRM system. Like as I mentioned, before sale, after sale analytics and all. Just a simple introduction to like how to implement any CRM system. Right now I'll show the same thing of the system of Salesforce now. Right? Ross, any other questions? Hello?
No, sounds good.
Yeah, cool. See, for navigating to Salesforce, first you want to create your own developer edition account. For that, you need to sign into www.salesforce.com. Right? And here sorry, URL is going to be like developerforce.com. Okay, able to see my screen?
Are we supposed to follow along with you or just watch for right now?
Sorry, come again?
Are we supposed
to just watch you?
Sorry, anyone can tell. I'm just getting conflict voices.
Yeah, we're just wondering whether we should open up a browser and do this too, or just watch you.
First you watch it, later you can
Okay.
try it, right?
Okay.
Here I'm just signing up for free developer environment. Here I'm giving my first name. I'm supposed to give my email address here. And here you want to select your unique username in the form of email by which you will access your developer edition account. Here I am going to give my username as and here sign up me. Now a new developer account has been created. For activating your account, you need to log into your account, mail account. Yep. Here you got a mail from Salesforce. For the first time, you need to click that link. Okay. It will redirect to the salesforce.com page. Where it will ask me to create a new password. Right. So I'm giving my password. Now it will take me to the salesforce.com developer. It's my organization. Ross?
Hey, Matthew, real quick. As far as browser support, the major browsers supported, Chrome, Safari.
Yeah, it will support in any browser. It might be a Chrome,
Okay.
Mozilla, IE. So best thing
Firefox, okay.
you can open with IE. If possible, you can open with IE. Else,
Okay.
whatever the browser you have, it may support any browser.
Okay, great.
Right? And you can see it's my own. I can call it as my own organization. Right? And you can see these are force.com apps where I can see sales, call center, marketing, app launcher, community, site.com. So these are called force.com applications, which are standard applications given by salesforce.com. And here see Salesforce logo, and we call this as a global search. You can search any records by typing the record name or ID. And here we call it as a tab bar where you can see lots of tabs starting from home, chat or campaigns till reports, dashboards. And this plus symbol is called all tabs, right? And this force.com home is we call it as a sidebar, nothing but you can call it a setup bar also. And right now we are on the home page where you can see recent items, quick links, community. So have you ever seen this Salesforce this developer edition page or this account? John, have you tried to log in with any of your account
I've just seen it from some
videos? Some of the videos
Yeah,
are
I've
in.
never actually logged in. I just see my colleagues have done it since they're developers.
Okay. And you, Johnson, are you new to this page or you have already visited this page?
Yeah, I already have an org set up already, so I'm in it right now.
Okay, good. Right. So here I don't need to explain much about, since you already viewed this page. I'll directly go for a tabs here. See, you know about chatter. What's the use of a chatter here? John, and tell me what's the use of a chatter?
Yeah, sorry, I had a little slowness there. Internet chat used to be able to get quick contact.
Okay. Here I mentioned a term like it's my own organization. Like in my organization, I may have a number of users in my organization. So here a chatter is a object where I can chat within the organization. Like I can create any post, I can attach a file, I can add a new event, right? So I can create some chatting conversation within my organization members, right? And campaign. Here it starts from before sale. Since I have already explained you the CRM system, it starts with before sale, right? So what is the first thing? Exhibition. It's nothing but we can call it as a campaign, right? If I want to create a new campaign, see, I have decided to market my product. A first phase in marketing our product is to do an exhibition. Nothing but we can call it as a campaign. The business terms of Salesforce.com is nothing but a campaigns. What is a campaign here? Like, I'm just again asking a basic question. What is the use of a campaign? Johnson, can you answer this question?
Well, a campaign is like you go to a trade show and that whole thing is a campaign. Or you send out a round of direct mail for summer 2014, so that's a campaign.
Yeah. And John, I hope you're already aware of what is a campaign now.
Yeah,
Right.
that's good.
And in a company, let's say I've come up with a new product and I'm planning to host a new campaign. So who have the rights to plan a campaign in an organization? Ross, you understood my question? Who have the
I don't know
rights?
the answer.
Sorry, come again?
I don't know the answer.
Okay. See, in an organization, if I want to, host a new campaign, okay, only the marketing persons or managers or senior managers who have rights to host a campaign will be creating a new campaign. Like, see, for example, I'm clicking new. Here, I'm going to decide what is the campaign name. And here I have a checkbox called active, whether the campaign is active or inactive. For example, I'm going to okay, it's going to held on California, so I'm mentioning as California. My spelling is right? California based campaign, or
Yes.
right? Let's, with example, like the campaign is going to held on California, so I'm just giving it as it is California campaign, and I'm making this campaign as active. So what's the use of this active checkbox here?
To
Ross?
now activate the campaign for the
Right.
system.
Whether this campaign is live or it's not in active state, right? And you can see here what all types of campaigns are there. Whether my campaign is going to be like conference, webinar, trade show, public relations, partners, okay? And you can see n number of types of campaign. And here I'm whether to make it as a trade show, and the status of the trade show is planned already. And here you can mention what's the start date and end date, and you can give expected revenue, budget cost, actual cost for the campaign, and what is the number of expected responses and numbers sent. Is there any parent campaign for this existing campaign? or new campaign,
No.
right?
No.
And I'm going to save this record. Now it comes to a detail page where you can see, a number of fields over here. And you can see a lot of these things are called related list. So I'll be explaining you what is related list later. Here, have you noticed we are in two different pages? Like when I click edit, I was in edit page. This is my edit page. And when I save this record, it redirects to me to a detail page. And a new record ID has been created. Means a new record has been created. Right? And
Right.
John, can you tell me what is a lead? Or else who is a lead?
A lead is a contact at various campaigns or some other source that's not yet a customer.
Yep. Johnson, tell me who is a lead? Hello. Johnson, are you there?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that again?
Yep. So yeah, my question is, can you tell me who is a lead?
A lead is a potential customer, right?
Yep. A person who shows interest towards a product. Right? And here I'm going to create a new lead. Here I'm going to capture all the basic information about my potential customer. I can get a first name, last name. For example, I'm just giving as John, and company, I'm just giving a company. Right? And I can give some title.
So the red icons in front of the text box are those the required fields?
Yeah, red color highlighted is nothing but required fields, required informations. And we call this as a pick list here. This drop-down box here we mentioned as pick list. I can give some phone number. Required some fax number. If your individual has a website, you can mention a website and rating about a potential customer, whether he shows more interest or normal interest or less interest. Industry about a lead and what is annual revenue, this address information. Right, and I'm going to select for which campaign this particular potential customer had showed interest. So when I look for this lookup button, it shows California campaign, and you can see a lot of standard campaigns are available. I'm selecting my new campaign and I'm going to save this record. See, right now I'm explaining you the basic end user point of view, how they'll be using the Salesforce as an end user. You got it, Ross? Johnson?
Yeah, makes sense.
Got it.
Yep. See, this is what the existing standard sales application is. If you take a sales application, it starts from campaign, leads, accounts, contact, opportunity. What I was explained in our introduction about system of say CRM. Here we got a lead. Now we need to convert this lead as a customer. So when I click convert, what the standard functionality is, we are going to create some task for some users within the organization so that they are going to convert this potential customer as a customer. Here account name is nothing but a company information is ABC Private Limited. Why? Because here right now Ross John work for a company ABC Private Limited. This company is nothing but my account information. And opportunity name also is going to be like same ABC Private Limited, because here again there are, we can tell us a lead might be an individual or it might represent a company. So the company is an opportunity for me, and the status of the lead is going to be like closed and converted. For converting a lead as a customer, we need to perform some task, like we may call a customer, or else we may send an email, send a letter, or else send a code. I'm just mentioning as you need to call a customer, and I'm fixing a due date. Due date is 3 days from today, and priority I'm setting as a high. So depends upon the due date, it will remind the user in my organization daily at 8 a.m. so that they may call the potential customer and check their status. Now I'm clicking convert.
So this is actually, when you convert a lead to a customer, you're actually creating a task?
Yeah, mean like I'm creating a tag for it.
Okay, and it's a task for the user itself, not for someone else, right? It's for Vijay right now, Vijay Matthew.
Yeah, see, here this is what an application which is designed already means. I'm creating a task for Vijay Matthew. I can configure it later by using some of the automations whenever I create a task to whom it should be assigned. Like who should take care of the case. Right?
I got it. I hear you. Yes.
Yep. So by default, right now it goes for Vijay Matthew, and you will be receiving a mail notification like I need to take care of the particular lead. Right now you see automatically account information will be pulled out here. Every information will be populated here. You can see what is the account name, which industry you work for, what is billing address, what is the rating, phone number, fax. Right? And you can see your contacts also will be automatically created, as well as opportunities. When I converted a lead, it converts into account information. All the contact information will be pulled from leads, and it will create a new opportunity for the company ABC Private Limited.
Okay.
Right? So here it's again an automation. A simple sales automation have been implemented here. Like when I convert a lead, it will convert into accounts, contacts, and opportunity. And account management team will be working on it, contact management team will be working on it, and opportunity management team will be working on it. Now once I converted lead,
and
sorry?
And that is pre-configured and we can change it later, right?
Yeah, that's what right now I'm explaining about a standard Salesforce sales application, how they are implemented.
Okay.
Later, that's what, this is what a standard application. If any company is asking for a sales application, I can configure them the next day. But if it's not satisfying their business requirement, again we need to customize the same sales business. Right. So this is what a standard sales application. If any of the company needs to, customize this application for their own business requirement, again, based on their requirement, we need to customize each and everything in this. Let's say they don't want this fields to appear like this. Then again, UI changes should be done. If they need additional functionality, then again it should be implemented. If they need any other business logic, we need to implement it again. Right? So in the same sales business, we'll be performing all the customizations, configurations, automations. Got it. John, you clear with this?
Yeah, okay with it.
Right. Now I got lead information has been converted into accounts, contacts, and opportunities. Right. Now, as I mentioned earlier, now based upon the business logic behind this, each and every objects, right? Every team will be working on it. Leads team, or else, accounts team, opportunity team, lead team. Sorry, opportunities, contacts team, accounts team. Now they may call the customers and they try to convert them, like to get a product. With this, before sale will be over. Right? You can see your products here. Okay. These are the standard products which are available. Standard price list, products view. These are the recent products here. If you want to customize, again, it depends upon the business team. What are the products companies offering? They may come and customize their products here. Right? And after sales falls under the cases. If any of the customer coming with a new case or feedback, we'll be creating a case based on the contact name. Let's say, for example, John is coming with a new case. If I'm selecting a John as a contact name, automatically the account name will be populated here. Nothing but ABC Private Limited. And status of the case is new. Priority depends upon, let's say I'm setting as high. Case origin, I received this case through email. Then type of the case, whether it's mechanical, electrical, structural, right? What is the reason for the case? Some more breakdown, and I may register my product. Is there any potential liabilities there? If there is any SLA violation, if I want to write some brief description, I can write it. What is the case description and subject, some internal comments, right? And again, these are some automations. If you're checking this box, if there already some assignment rules were written, based on the assignment rules, the case will be assigned to the user in my organization. Right? So as of now, I'm not going to assign to anyone. I'm just clicking save. So the case will be saved and ID will be created for it. You can see the details of the case, right? And you can find a solution also for it. Right? So this is what a completely, a basic application end user point of view, still now we discuss only about end user point of view, how the end user is going to use the application. Till this, any doubt, John or Johnson?
Any doubt?
Yeah, I'm asking you, like, do you have any other doubt?
Oh, any questions at this point? No.
Yeah, any questions?
No, not for me.
Okay. And sure. From next session, we are going to discuss how we are going to customize the standard objects, or else if standard objects is not going to satisfy our requirements, we are going to create a new objects, and how we are going to add automations, right? And we are going to see what all the new concepts are available for customizations, everything, right? So today my request is you create your own new account and try to analyze how the standard application has been developed. Because my suggestion is, if you understood our default application provided by Salesforce.com, what is sales, what is marketing, what is call center, then you will be getting much idea how we can customize existing software.
Okay.
Understood? What's my what I'm trying to tell?
Yeah. So you want us to create our account?
Yeah, you create an account and try to analyze what is chatter, what is campaign, what is leads, and what all the fields are available here. And if some fields are missing, because not every company going to use the same fields. Someone may be asking, like, I need to customize, instead of company name, I should have something. And if some of the field is missing, what field should be added over here? Right? And what is this kind of field type? What is this type? And what is this type of field? And we have different field lengths as well. Right? So this is what my request for the day. You take it as a task for the day and you can work it out by creating some records. As I showed you, you can create some campaigns, leads, and see what all the logics available here. For example, account, open a record. Here you might be knowing what is edit, delete, okay, what is include offline, and what is a new contact. So like this, you try to understand a basic logic implemented in sales application. Right? Create some contacts, opportunity, contracts, orders, cases. And tomorrow I'll be telling you like how we are going to customize the standard sales application for any business requirement.
Okay.
Right.
Matthew, would it be possible for you to give us sort of some outline of what the class would be tomorrow and give it to us so we can sort of be prepared for it?
Yeah. See, tomorrow we are going to discuss like what is a standard object, what is custom object, when we should go for standard object and when we should go for our own custom object, and how to create a
Okay.
custom object. It's going to be like a declarative, session, how we are going to create an object without writing any piece of code. Like only point and clicks, how we are going to create an object with fields. Like here I showed you like campaign. Here in campaign, let's say we have some 10 to 20 fields, 15 fields out there. Okay, we're going to create a similar object with these many fields only by using point and clicks, right? And we are going to analyze an object. What is an object, when we should go for an object, and we are going to create different field types, right? And this is what are going to be tomorrow's session, creating an object, and we are going to start with a
Okay.
simple application.
Okay.
And what are the relationships out there, like one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-many relationship out there, how to implement the concepts in our own application, right?
Okay.
All right.
Any other questions for today? John?
Not for
No.
me.
Yep. So how was the session? Is it comfortable? Like,
Well, I mean, for me, I mean, comfortable. It's late at night in Houston, but that's the way it is.
why? Because today we
But I'm
had
just-
some introduction here. It's completely theoretical,
Yeah.
so we'll be like getting bored. From tomorrow, it'll be completely like hands-on. So I'll try to give some
Yeah.
tasks on the way.
And I kind of agree with what Johnson is saying is I think we're used to having like some kind of outline
Okay.
to know what's coming.
Okay.
So that would be really helpful.
Yep. So I'll tell them to share you the
That's-
content.
that's-
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
So you'll be having a scheduled
So like
content.
this. Yeah. Well, on the web page itself, there is like a list, but I'm thinking more of like a syllabus. Like when
Right.
you take a college class, there is a syllabus of what's going to be gone over, what sort of some prerequisite things we need to do for it, what homework might be available from it, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then I'll be sharing you. Okay. So we'll share it along with today's recording session. So what is going to be like daily basis? What are the contents you're going to learn from starting from
Okay.
customization, configurations, automations, some data management, and I'll be telling you like what are the certification point of view questions for daily basis, right? And I'll be giving some assessments as well,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So today,
So I know with that Salesforce published objectives for the certification exam,
yeah,
and and it will. I think I'll be more comfortable if we kind of if you let me know what objectives are we going through today to satisfy those objectives. Does that make sense to you?
yeah, understood. See, today we had only an introduction, so it doesn't comes with any objectives
right.
here. Right. From tomorrow we'll be
Okay.
starting, and I'll be showing you like what are the main objectives are required to understand.
Okay. Sort of like corresponding to the objectives Salesforce publishes for the exams.
Yeah. So have you gone through that objectives? How many objectives was there?
I don't know. I've looked through them, and I've looked through some books with it, and they all kind of turn to a blur at the end, and that's why I'm taking a class.
Okay. Okay. Then from tomorrow after sessions I'll be telling you some objectives as well.
All
Okay.
Right?
Matthew, I'm sorry, one more thing. Is there a way for us to reach you, to ask you questions via email and stuff like that?
I'll check with concerned person, and I'll let you know through when you're sending some recording sessions. I'll let them know so that they will be sharing my contact information as well. Okay, they can. That's what you can redirect through Simplilearn online.
Okay.
Right? Yep. So
All right.
thanks so much for your time. Right?
All
We'll
right,
meet.
So
good
thank
night.
you for your time.
Yeah. So we'll meet tomorrow.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Now we are going to see what is customization today. I'll tell a definition how to compare with Salesforce customizations. See here, customization nothing but creating or modifying standard salesforce.com settings, or you can call it as application based on any business requirements. Right? So that is what customization. So can you tell me what all the standard applications Salesforce had provided? John?
Standard applications, sales,
Good.
marketing,
Mm-hmm.
some of those. I think something like call center.
Yeah. Here we can see like what all the apps are available under force.com app menu. These are all the applications Salesforce are given by default for all the users in their organization. Now, if I want to customize the sales business based upon any business requirement, let's say I have a campaign, lead, account, contacts, opportunity, and under my campaigns object, I click new button. Let's say my client is asking like I need to have one more field under type field, right? Means I want to customize the standard campaign object by adding my own custom field. Now I'm going to create one field in my campaigns object. A path for creating a field under a standard object is, first you want to click setup, come under build, click on customize, expand object. See, when I expand customize, here you can see all your standard objects starting from tab names till topics. Everything is considered as a standard object.
Hey, Matthew, real quick, what did you click on again to get to there? It kind of jumped on my screen and I didn't get a chance to see what you clicked on to get to the customized part. What was the first thing you did?
First I clicked on setup. Okay, I open a new tab.
Okay.
When I click the setup, it opens
Setup.
force.com sidebar.
Got it. Okay.
Right?
Setup.
Here, under the build section, I am expanding customize. When I expand customize, here you can see all your standard objects which are provided by salesforce.com. And right now I'm going to create a field under campaigns object. Right. Here, that's the reason I'm expanding campaigns object again. Here where you can see what all the options you can create under campaigns object. And I'm going to create a field, so I'm clicking field button. Now we are under a definition page of campaign object where you can see all the standard fields are available which are available under campaigns object, and there is option for us to create a custom fields and relationship. If I want to create a new custom field under my standard object campaign, I want to click new. My first step, I want to choose a field type. Right, here you can see what all the field types are available in Salesforce, starting from auto number, formula, your roll-up summary, and I'm going to explain each and every field types. Before that, we'll just create a test field right now. Right, I'm selecting my text data type, going for next. I'm giving a field label. For example, I'm giving a test field. Right? This is a field label and there is a field name and length is mandatory. When I create a field label and when I click on field name, a field name will be automatically populated. And this is considered as an API name. And hope you know what is API name. John?
No, I don't. I don't know what that is.
Okay. See, a field label is for end user purpose. Like in UI, end user will be seeing only the field label.
Right.
But there should be some unique name for developer understanding. If I want to call this object, okay, we'll be calling every object in Salesforce by using API names. You got it?
What does that stand for? I'm sorry, APA names?
API is nothing but Application Programming Interface.
Okay, got it. API name. Okay, got it.
Right?
I'm sorry, I just didn't understand. Yeah, I know API, yeah.
Yep. And here you want to give a length. I'm just giving 50, and if required you can give a description. Right? And I'm copying and giving as same as text, sorry, help text. And you know the difference between a description and help text. Description is for describing about your new field to the developers. Help text for, like, see, you can see a help text over here. This is a sample help text. Since I'm going to create one test field, I'm just explaining to the end users with the use of help text, telling this is my test field. And if you want to make this field as a mandatory, you can check this box required. Always require value in the field in order to save a record. Right? And if you want to make this field as unique without any duplicate values, you can check this box. Right? And I'll explain this external ID later. I'm going for next button. A third step, to establish field level security. And do you know the concept of what is a profile? John?
Well, I'm familiar with profiles and what I do, but not sure what they are in Salesforce.
Okay. What you will be doing in Siebel with the concept profile?
We have profiles for communication, profiles for Active Directory interfaces, profiles for object managers, all sorts of different profiles. For users and roles, responsibilities, being able to see certain screens and not see certain screens, that kind of thing.
Good, good. Same concept here. In an organization, we may be having many profiles based upon the user's requirement. We'll be creating several profiles for our organization, right? Here, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to create a test field, right? And I'm just making sure whether this field should be available for all the profile or only for selected profile. You understood? John?
Yes, yes.
Right? So if I'm checking this box, this field name test field will be available for all the profiles in my organization. And if I'm not checking all this box, I can go and select individually, okay, whether it should be visible for contract manager profile or marketing user profile or system administrator, right? And whether it should be a read only or it's only visible. And I'm not checking read only box since it should be only a visible field for all the profile. Then click next, and this is what a concept for page layout. And do you have any idea about what is a page layout?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be how all the fields and different checkboxes are going to be laid out on the screen.
Okay. Okay, so as of now, I'm skipping the step 4, so that when I come for the page layout concept, I'll be explaining you what is the use of the page layout. Okay, and I can click save and new to create one more field. Else, I'm going to click save. Now I have created one custom field with the label test field, and you can see the API name. See, each and every API name will be coming at the end __ C. It means C represents it's a custom, and you can see what data type we are used for the test field. It's of text and a length of 50. And now if I'm going to my campaigns tab, clicking new, see here you can see my custom field.
Yeah.
Right, and you can see the help text as well. Right, now you understood. If I want to create a custom field under a standard object, now I hope you were pretty clear what is the path and where to go and create a custom field. Right?
Yes, right.
Yep. Now I'm asking a question to you. If I want to create a field under opportunities object, can you tell me the path how I want to go and create a field under my opportunities object? Now you're going to guide me how I want to create a field under opportunities object.
Let's see. You go to setup.
Good.
And then build, customize.
Okay.
You from there select campaigns, and then the fields object underneath it.
Okay.
And then
well,
you
but my requirement is not under campaign object. It's of under opportunities object.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, yeah.
Okay.
So you go under opportunities object. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you'd click field in opportunities, and then you, I think, click the new button to start a new field, and go through the screens.
Right. Here you want to click new button, and you can select which data type is required for your field, and then click next. By this way you can create any number of fields under your objects. Right? See, and one more thing, campaign is a standard object, and these are the fields we call it as standard fields, and this is my custom field. And see, only custom field can be deleted from your object and not your standard field. Standard field doesn't have an option for deleting, but custom field can be deleted from your object. Let's say if you want to delete,
and so if you want to edit those, you go into a standard field and you decide you don't want to show it, you can edit it and then make it available to only certain profiles?
No, it's not like that. If you want to edit any of the standard field, there is some limitation. Only thing you can have added help text for a field, not rather than that.
Okay.
Okay.
So you can't hide that field, for example, if you needed to?
Yeah, that is possible.
Okay.
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 That is a concept by using a page layout. So I'll be explaining it later.
Okay.
Now you can able to create any fields, any number of fields under a standard object. John, now you understood how to create a fields under any standard object.
Yes.
Yep.
I think we just, yeah.
If standard object is not going to satisfy your business requirement, let's say I need to have a purchase order as an object, right? And Salesforce doesn't give a purchase order as a standard object. Now what should I do? John, here comes my question. See, here we required an object called purchase order for my sales application. And
Okay.
Salesforce.com didn't give an object called purchase order for sales business. And if my client is asking, I need one more object that is going to be like custom object for my business, then what should I do?
I assume you start the same way with setup.
Okay.
I don't know for sure.
Setup. Right. Let me explain.
And then,
See, if you go to customize, here you can see only your standard objects. But what is my requirement is I need to create one more new object, which is nothing but my custom object.
okay.
For creating a custom object, a path for creating it, see, path for creating custom object nothing but under build, you want to expand create. Under create, you want to select object. Right? This is my custom object definition page. Right now there is no custom object is defined. So I'm going to create a new custom object, which I'm going to give a label as purchase order, giving a plural label. And have you noticed again object name is automatically populated, means it's again an API name for this object, purchase orders. And if you want to add a description for this object, you can add it here. And these two checkboxes I will explain it later. Record name. See, whenever an object is created, one field will be populated by default. For example, I'm creating an object called purchase order. A default field which comes with the new object is record name. It's nothing but purchase order name, which has a data type like text and auto number. And there are some optional features which helps to create some reports or activities or to track some field history. And some object classifications are there. I'll be explaining this later. And deployment status. There are two different checkboxes. One is in development and deployed. Whenever you create a new object, deployment status will be checked deployed by default so that it's ready to use. And we do have object creation options, and they are given a note. It is available only when custom object is first created. Like if you want to add some notes and attachments as a related list to default page layout, you want to check this box, right? And here launch new custom tab wizard after saving this custom object. Here we are going to create an object. If you want to use this object, you have to create a tabs like this. Then only end user can use this object as in the user interface. For creating a tab, you want to check this box. If you forget to check this box, only object will be created without a tab, right? Then you want to come again to create tabs. Then you want to select this object and you want to create your own tab for it. Right now I'm going to create.
Matthew.
Yeah, tell me.
Matthew, this is Johnson.
Yeah, tell me, Johnson.
Now, there's label and plural labels. Now, shouldn't the label be without the S?
Yeah.
The first one? I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Label can be anything.
Because,
right? It's just for
okay.
user understanding. But only plural label only it will be visible in the tabs. You can see
okay.
campaigns, leads, accounts, contact. Why? Because any object, it may consist of n number of records, not a single record.
Right.
So it should be like
I got it. Thank you.
plural. Yeah. Here I check this box and I'm going to create a tab for this object. So when I click save, since I check this box, it will redirect to new custom object tab, right? And we are going to create a tab for the object called purchase order. And here it's a mandatory field to select a tab style as well. Selecting any of the existing tab styles. And if you want to add any splash page custom link, again by using some Visualforce pages, If you create some Salesforce page, then you can select your page and you can add some splash pages for your object. Again, next comes a concept called profile. Here, this tab should be available for all the profile or only a selected profile. Whether it should be default on or default off, else it should be a tab hidden. You can select the option here only, else later you can customize it based upon your requirement. Clicking next. The third step is add to custom apps. Now I created a new tab called purchase order. In the third step, I need to choose the custom applications for which the new custom tab will be available. Right? Whether I need to check all this box, or if I require only for sales or application, I can select only sales application, so that this tab purchase order will be available only for sales application. Clicking save. Now I've successfully created an object called purchase order. See, this is my definition page for the object purchase order, and I also created a tab for it.
So if you switch to the marketing app, it won't be there.
Yep. So if I'm going to marketing app, see, you cannot find purchase order tab here.
Right.
Right. Similarly, if you go for call center also, it won't be available. Only it is available only for my sales application, purchase orders. And when I click new, it is the empty object with only a record name. Right? I showed you while creating an object, there is one field which is mandatory, which comes default as a record name. There is nothing but your purchase order name. Johnson, you're clear how I created an object?
Yes.
John, any doubt on this?
Yes. Yes.
Right. Now, see, here I have only one field. And if my requirement is I want to create a purchase order details which includes PO number, PO date, right? I need to create a custom fields under my custom object. What you did for campaigns, you created a test field under a campaign object. Remember? John?
Yes.
Right. What's the path for creating a field under standard object? Johnson, can you tell me?
You're asking me?
Yeah, Johnson.
Okay. So you go to setup.
Okay.
And you go to customize. And see which of the regular objects they are that you want to create, or which one do you want to create under?
Okay, good. So this is the path for your standard object. Let's say I want to create a field under my custom object.
Okay.
Under my purchase order custom object. Right? Here, path for creating a field under your custom object is, you want to click on setup, it's going to be the same path. Only difference is under build, you want to click on create instead of customize. Customize is only for your standard object. In case of custom object, you want to expand create, you want to select objects. Here it will display all your custom objects. You want to select under which object you want to create a field. Right now I have only one object. That's the reason I'm selecting purchase order. It will display the definition detail page. Okay, where you can see label which is singular. I can see up to label, what is the object name, what is the API name, right? And you can see what all the standard fields are available, which are created by, lost modified by, owner, and purchase order name. These are the standard fields.
Matthew.
Yeah, tell me.
Matthew, question. So under the create, when you expand the create, there is one for object and there's one for tabs, okay?
Yep.
So I thought a couple minutes ago, object would show up as a tab, but the way this thing is listed, the menu is listed, it kind of tells me that that objects and tabs are two different things. Or am I jumping ahead, or is this a cogent question for right now?
It's a genuine question. See, object is nothing but which list all the okay, let me first ask a question. What is your understanding about an object? Do you have any idea what is an object and what it actually does? Can you tell me some simple things like what you understood about an object?
Object has properties and methods.
Okay, good.
Is that what you meant?
John, can you explain something from your end? What is an object?
Kind of like what Johnson said, properties in this case, I kind of look at it as a parent, parent overall object, and then underneath it, other things can exist, fields and other items like that.
Okay. Here, when I open my standard object, campaign, and I click new button, right? This campaign edit page, which is going to get inputs from our end users, right? It's nothing but we are going to store all the information under my campaign object at the back end. For that, we need some user interface, like we need to get some input from end users. So campaign, which stores all the information at the back end. For that, we need a UI called tab. And if you want to retrieve the information, we are going to use a UI to retrieve information from an object which is stored at the back end.
Oh, okay. I think I know where you're getting at, Matthew. So an object, the object from the previous screen, the custom object screen, it includes objects, but it also includes other custom items.
Yeah. See, only thing. Yeah, go ahead.
No. That's all I have. So I guess I'm just trying to see the difference between an object and a tab, because I thought an object becomes a tab.
See, object, it consists of lots of items. I'm explaining in the same way what you like to explain. See, object which consists of lots of items like standard fields, custom fields, some filters, validations, triggers, and lots of stuffs under it. If you want to use the object, only through the tab we can access it. Right? See, purchase order, this is my definition. Okay, this is my definition detail page where the developers will be working on it. Right, they'll be creating a new fields or validations or trigger or page layout. Right? For whom they are creating? For end users. Like when they click a new, what all the developers did. See, one simple thing. This custom object definition page is for developers, and this purchase order tab is for end users.
Okay.
You got clear? I'll still need some other explanations.
I think I got it.
John?
Yeah, I understand.
See, only thing difference is when I create an object, developers will be working on definition detail page. What all the requirements for the end user. Let's say when I click new, if an end user or client is telling, I need to have some of the fields under my purchase order name. Okay, developers will be creating under the definition detail page. They will be clicking new. Right? Let's say under the purchase order name, here I like to add a field with the name purchase order number. For that, if I'm requesting a developer, he should come to the definition detail page where you need to click new button and you want to choose the field type. Purchase order number should be your number type. Right, first I'll explain you what all the field types are available in Salesforce. See, first comes auto number. Here they are given a definition for it, so I don't want to explain much about it. Simple thing is, if you want to populate a number automatically, whenever you create a new record, a number should be populated automatically without any manual interruption. Okay, in such cases you can go for auto number. For example, in case of invoice number, right, whenever you create a new invoice, an invoice number should be automatically populated. In such cases, you can select auto number type field. Right, John?
Right.
Yep. Next comes formula field. In case of any kind of calculation, right? In case you want to use any mathematical operator or any kind of, if you want to perform some calculation, you want to use some formula field. And third one, roll-up summary. It's like a grayed out. I'll be explaining you when I'm going for relationship concept. What's the use of roll-up summary? You can see the help text. You cannot create this type of field on this object because it is not the master in a master-tail relationship. So once I come for relationship concept, I'll be explaining you what's the use of roll-up summary. And see, I myself classify this data types into 3 different types. Starting from auto number, formula, and roll-up summary, it's called read-only data type, right? And hope you know what is read-only data types, right? You cannot edit or modify the fields. Only thing, it's you can be viewed the field. And starting from lookup, relationship, master detail, these 2 field types are considered as an relationship fields, right? So again, I am just skipping this relationship concept. First we will finish our generic type field. Starting from checkbox till URL is considered as a generic field types. If you want to use a checkbox kind of field, you want to select this checkbox. If it's currency type, you want to select currency. Date or date and time, based upon your requirement, you can go for the type. In case of email, you can select this. If you want to use a geolocation kind of field with the latitude and longitude values, you can select this. If in case number, you can go for number. And right now I'm going to create a purchase order number field, so I'm selecting a number kind of field. Going for next. Here I want to give the field label. I'm clicking save and new. Here I'm under purchase order tab. I'm just refreshing the page. You can see I got a new field called purchase order number. Right, Johnson? You understood what I did? John?
Yes. Yes, but and usually wouldn't the purchase order number be a unique number, and it would never, you didn't put any validation for this one, right?
Yeah. See, in such cases, if you want it to be a unique number, here what I can do is, I can go for an auto number, right? Before that,
Right.
what I'm going to do, I'm going to set up my purchase order object. Here I can see my custom field. I'm going to remove my purchase order number field. See, one more thing. Here in Salesforce, if you delete any of the fields or records, it will be stored. See, in case of fields, it will be stored under deleted fields section, where it will be stored only for some 30 days. Okay, then it will be removed from your organization. And if you delete any of your records from your organization, it will be stored under your organization recycle bin. Right? Where if you require, you can undelete from your organization recycle bin. If not required, you can empty your recycle bin. Else completely, if you want to remove from your organization, you can empty your organization recycle bin. Here I removed a field called purchase order number, which is a number type field, and I'm going to create a same purchase order number with field type auto number. And it requires for an display format. I'm going to display format starting number, it's from 1. Here again I'm going to my purchase order tab and I'm refreshing the page. John, can you tell me why the field which I have created, it's not displayed under my purchase order tab?
No, I can't. I don't, because I'm actually trying to follow along with you in a separate page, and I just tried to do that, and I couldn't get it to show up.
Okay. Johnson?
Did you save it?
Yeah, of course. See, I saved it and the field is available here, purchase order number. Right, and the type of field is auto number.
Right.
Right, and here I said a word like, see, auto number, formula, roll-up summary. This 3 type of field which is considered as an read-only data types. Okay. So what I do here, purchase order name, let's say I'm creating ABC orders, and when I click save, I can see my purchase order number here.
Okay.
Okay, and it's like you cannot
generated.
edit this, and it's auto populated, and it is considered as a read only field. Right?
Yes.
And you should remember, like, we do have 2 different pages. This page is considered as a detail page. Right now we are in purge detail page. When I click edit, it directs to our edit page where PO number is read only. You cannot edit it and it's unique. Johnson, are you clear?
Yes. So when you define the purchase order number, you put there's a mask thing, and you only put 4 digits, like 4 zeros, 4 places for it.
Yeah.
When you when you are at like PO number 9999, where does it go next? Or do we have to think about that?
Again, it's again based on a business requirement. See, I just, for example, I'd give only 4 digits. It's your wish. You can give, it's like a display format. Want to see this?
Right.
Go to purchase order number, click edit. See, display format is, I give only 4 digits. You want to add something,
you
can add it. Right? And else, if you want to change any of the number, like I'm giving as invoice, I'm changing the format, right?
Right.
So again, based on your requirements, you can modify any fields or any types. Got it?
Okay.
Right? We created a field with number. In case we want to create a field with a percentage type, you can select this option. If you want to enter your phone number, which I am selecting a phone number field, here I can give phone number. Here, when I click edit, now you can see you got another field called phone number. Right? Now hope you clear if I am giving a scenario to create an object with few fields. Now we can able to create it. John?
Yeah, I'm clear. Like I said, I'm trying to do it, so I have a tendency to learn better when I do it.
Okay. And one more thing I'll explain with a pick list. So you are aware of what is a pick list, right? We call this drop down list as a pick list here. So here I'm trying to create a pick list value. Clicking next. I'm giving a field label as products. Here we need to add a list of values. So I'm going to add a value called printer, scanner, fax, Xerox. Click next. Next. I click save. Right here. Now again I'm going here, clicking edit, so that it redirects to me to a edit page. Here you can see product as a pick list. The values which are added is displayed under the product pick list value: printer, scanner, fax or Xerox. See, I can select printer and I can save this.
So Matthew,
Yeah.
in that pick list, I see the labels for each of the options. Can we specify values for each of the options? Like, for example, printer will be 1, scanner will be 2, fax would be 3, Xerox would be 4. You understand what I'm talking about? In HTML, those drop-down options have labels. And they also can have values for each of the items. Is that possible with that?
You're like you want to add some numbers before it, or a like specific format you require?
Well,
here I can see the values: printer, scanner, fax and Xerox. You like to add like you're saying, like,
yes, yeah, okay.
right? So know that
Right.
if you're going and refresh the page, see here you can see it'll be like one printer. If you want to add numbers before it, you can do it. Or else if you want to add with a series, printer -001, scanner -002. Okay.
Can you give it, like, for example, when we want to refer this in the database, you know, I do web programming, so when you have a drop down, there is the label, which is the printer, but each of these options have a value as well. You know what I mean?
No, come again.
Okay, so can you go back to the pick list definition page?
Okay.
So we can look at pick list values. Can we edit? I want to see if there's a way to specify a value. There isn't. So the printer is the value, right? That will save the word printer.
Yeah. Right. Tell me. We can specify a value here. You are telling like you want to call a particular pick list value. Am I right?
Right.
See, in such cases, directly you can specify the value only. For example, if you want to specify a criteria, if products equals to printer, then perform some actions. Directly database will understand.
Right. 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 Right.
Right. See, here, if I want to make some automation such that if a product is equal to some values, it might be a printer, scanner, fax, okay, send this record for
Okay.
approval. In such cases, directly you can
Right.
write a trigger or like can write a class or something. You can give a condition if product is
Right.
equal to fax. Directly you'll accept the
Right.
values. It will check for a value. If it's in the database, automatically a next action will be performed.
So the value they're looking for would be printer.
Yep.
Okay, there's not a different number or some sort of, in HTML, when you do a drop down,
Mm-hmm.
there is a label for each of these options,
Okay.
and there's the value.
Mm-hmm.
But you're saying that the word printer, the choice printer, is the value as well as the label.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Similarly, you can create a multi-select pick list also. In such cases, if you want to select more than one product, you can go for multi-select pick list. Right. Here is option called pick list multi-select, where in such cases, like if you want to select a product printer as well as scanner, right? In such cases, you can select pick list multi-select, and text is like allows users to enter any combination of letters and numbers. Select this text field type. You can enter number else letters. And text area, only differences, it allows user to enter up to 255 characters on separate lines. Similarly, long, it varies with the characters, and text area rich, where you can enter formatted text, images, links, and text encrypted. And see, in such cases, if you want to encrypt values which you are entered in a field, in such case you can go for text encrypted like passwords or account number. Right, you can select a text encrypted field type, and if you want to create any URL kind of field, you can select URL checkbox. Here in my purchase order, I like to complete this object by adding unit price and quantity and what is the total price. So I'm selecting a currency type, clicking next button, in the field name as unit price. Here I'm going to split the length, how many decimal places are required. Next I'm going to use number type field. Label I'm giving a quantity. Right. If I refresh the edit page, here you can see I have a purchaser name, number, phone number, products, got a unit price field, quantity. Now I need to create a total price field. For that I like to go for a field type formula. Here I'm selecting a read only type field named formula. Field label I'm just giving as total price. See, here comes again a certification point of a question. You can make a note like what is formula return type, and what all you can tell in this way. Here you can see the return types like checkbox, currency, date, date and time, number, person, text. The objective type, they may ask you a question. Among the following answers, choose 3 items which are valid return type for a formula. Johnson?
Yes. Yes, I'm trying to search for a pen. Oh man, this pen's not working.
Okay. And John, you're clear? How?
Yeah, I'm clear. So in this case, since we're doing total price on this, we would select.
Yeah. And here I stopped and I gave a break, like I'm telling you, certification point of view questions starts from here, and a way of question will be like among, they may be giving some 5 or 6 values in a as a answers, and they may ask you to select which are the valid return types from the following 5 or 6 answers. They may ask you like checkbox, currency, let's say pick list multi-select, URL. Now among the 5 you should know what all the return types for a formula.
Okay, I got it.
Right? So these are all the valid answers. If these values are present in the options which are available, then you want to select these options which are in the objectives. Checkbox, currency, date and time, number, person, text. And right now I'm going to select currency type. Decimal places is 2. Tell me a formula for calculating total price. Johnson?
It's the unit times the price.
Good. So here I'm clicking insert field, where it will display all the fields in your purchase order object.
It's the quantity times the unit price.
Yep. So quantity, I'm just inserting the API name. And inserting operator, again inserting a field, unit price. Right? And there are lots of advanced formula functions out there. You can use them if required, and you can check the syntax whether the syntax is right or not. It's telling no syntax error in the merge files or functions. Click next. Next. Save. Here I'm just refreshing the page, and the total price field won't be visible. Why? Because again it's a read-only type field. Here again I'm giving unit price as 5000, quantity Q. I'm trying to save this record. Now see, total price, which is a formula type field, automatically it calculates and the value has been populated as 10,000. Any doubts how to create and purchase order object with 5 to 6 fields? Any doubt till this, Johnson and John?
No, that's a good explanation.
No. Yes, it was.
Hey, I'm here.
Yeah, hi. Johnson?
I'm here.
Yep. Likely we have a brush up, like, can you tell me how to create a new custom object? What's the path for creating a custom object?
For me,
Yeah.
we'll go to setup
Okay, good.
and I believe setup, create
Good.
object,
Cool.
and then click on
Yeah. So this is
new
the
custom object.
right path for creating a new custom object. And now we have created a custom object with the name purchase order. Let's say if while creating a new custom object, if I forgot to create a tab, then what would happen? John, can you answer? Like if I'm creating a new custom object and if I forgot to create a tab for a specific object.
Yeah, I'm not sure. If you didn't create a tab, what happens?
See, example, I'm going to create a new object, new custom object, label orders. Here, if I forgot to check this box, let's say launch new custom tab wizard after saving this custom object. And remember, the two options will be available only when an object is created for the first time. When you click edit, you cannot find the check box here. Okay? So now, what is the case? Now I have a object called PO orders, but the tab is not visible. If you're, hello?
Hello.
Yeah. John, are you there?
Yes. Yes, I'm here.
You got my question. If I'm creating any object and if I forgot to create a tab for the specific object, now what would happen? Here, end users cannot use the specific object PO orders. And in a requirement, if you require a tab for PO orders, then a path for creating a tab is again setup, build, and a build you want to click create. Here you want to select tabs, right? And under the custom object tabs, you want to click new button, where our PO orders object will be here, and here you want to select a tab style. Want to click next and apply on tab visibility to all the profile. It's default on for all the profile. Click next, and I'm including it only for sales application. Click save. Now when you click the more tab, so this icon is nothing but more tab. Here you can see your PO orders. You got it what I did, Johnson?
Yes.
Yeah.
While creating an object, I forgot to check the box so that I am unable to show my tab in the tab bar. Again, I went to setup. Under build, there's an option called create, and I create a new tab for the previously created object. Right. And now for the purchase order object, I'm going to create one more field by using lookup relationship. Right. Before that, let me try to understand what is your understanding about relationship concepts. John, can you explain what is this relationship concept in DBMS database?
Well, your relationships have to do with different objects and whether they have a, for instance, a single relationship, a many-to-many relationship.
Good.
One-to-many. For example, you may have accounts and they relate to contacts, and you may have cases that relate to customers. So different relationships you've got along the line. Yeah, many-to-many as well.
Okay. Fine. Johnson, see, I'll explain you what is a relationship. Here, it might be any technology, a relationship concept is going to be the same. If you want to relate one object records with some other object, we are going to implement the concept called relationship. Here, Salesforce also implies the same kind of relationship like one-to-many, many-to-many, and many-to-one. And we also can call one-to-one. For using this kind of relationship, Salesforce had given three different kinds of relationship field types. First one is you can call it as lookup data type. Second one is master detail data type, and we do have hierarchical relationship data type. First, we are going to see what is this lookup data type. Here, lookup relationship, which is useful to relate one object records with our specific object. Now we are under our purchase order. Let's say I want to relate some of the contact information or account information for the specific purchase order. See, we are under accounts. We already have an account called ABC Private Limited, right? And here I like to create a link between account object and purchase order. So that from purchase order, I am going to create a reference link to accounts object record. For that, I am going to select lookup relationship. Click next. Second step, choose a related object. From purchase order, I am going to relate the object called accounts. So here, under the pick list, I want to select the object called accounts. A field label, nothing but account. Now I have created a new field under purchase order object. See, there is a field with a type lookup relationship. I'm going to create a new purchase order. See what this lookup button, the search button, when I click this button, it shows a pop-up which displays all the records which are present under your accounts object. So right now I have only one record, ABC Private Limited. I'm selecting this account and I'm clicking save. Now new record under purchase order object has been created, and you can see this is called a lookup relationship which has a reference link to the accounts object. Okay, if I click this link, it will redirect to my accounts object record. John, you understood what I have did?
Yes.
Now can you tell me what's the use of a lookup relationship, so that if you didn't understand and then I can make it in a different way.
So a lookup is, for example, a purchase order requires an account. It belongs to an account.
Okay.
So you create a lookup field that links the purchase order object to the account object. So every time you create a new purchase order field, you have to select for an account.
Okay, perfect. Johnson, could you explain like...
that was me. That was Johnson. Sorry.
Okay, then John, you didn't tell me, right? Yeah, you tell me like what's your understanding, or you need any other examples to understand what's the use of this lookup relationship?
Yeah, it makes sense to me. Creating the field, the lookup relationship, you select the object that you want to relate it to, such as accounts or contacts, and then when you create the field and you create a record within that lookup relationship bar, or in that box, you then click on it and select the account as it comes up.
Good. Now see, I made a relationship between accounts and my new object purchase order, so that you can see under my accounts object there is a related list. Sorry, here I'm going to my purchase order, opening my purchase order record. So here a lookup relationship which creates a link between accounts object record with my purchase order, right? So here we can tell there is some parent and child relationship. Here my purchase order is my child, which is related with my parent record in account object is nothing but ABC Private Limited. Am I right? Johnson?
Yes.
See, it's very simple. Here account object record as a child is nothing but purchase orders. Whenever I create a new purchase order record, which is nothing but child record, it requires some of the information from parent record. Parent record, which is nothing but my account information. So here, when I click ABC Private Limited, it is my parent record, and which has a related list is nothing but purchase orders. So am I confusing you, or else I will tell with some other example? See, if I go for...
I think that's fine.
See, another one more example. If you take a lookup relationship, there are two different types. One is like, as I mentioned, one is parent and child relationship. One more thing is like self lookup. Self lookup is nothing but where you're going to look for records in the same object, right? For example, see, when I click a new button, there is a field called parent campaign. When I look for this button, it's going to look for the records in the same object, which is nothing but campaign object. You got it? Got my point?
Yes.
This is an example, good example for what is a self lookup. if any of the lookup is going to look for the records in the same object. In case leads, accounts, contacts, if I'm creating a lookup under contacts, a new contact, and where if you have a field which is going to look for a same contact object for any parent contact or previous contact, that is nothing but a self lookup. That lookup is available only under campaign object. Just for a simple example, I'm just telling. If you go to leads object, here when I click new button, here you have a campaign. When I click this lookup, it searches records under campaign object. It means we are looking for the parent object called campaign, and we are trying to relate some of the records from a parent object campaigns. This is the second type of relationship. One is self lookup and next one is like parent child lookup. Okay, and now see, you try to create some of the lookup relationships, then you will come to know differences like what is a self lookup and what is a parent child lookup. This is what a main thing which is required for the next concept, which is nothing but master data relationship. Right? So here one more thing. Here again some certification point of view question. How many lookups you can create for a single object? Since Salesforce was working on cloud computing technology, it do have some of the limitations which we called as a governor limit, or generally we can call it as a limitations of Salesforce. In an object, if you want to create this lookup kind of fields, again there is a limitation. You cannot create more than 25 lookups for a single object. Got it, Johnson? This is one of the certification point of view question.
Yes.
The question will be like,
Yes.
the question will be like, for example, the number of lookup relationship that an object can have are option 1, option A is 1, B is 2, C is 25 and E is some 300. Among the options you want to choose the best answer. It will be like answer is 25. You cannot create more than 25 lookups for a single object. Right? See, for example, you can see
Right.
the question is like this. The number of lookup relationship that an object can have are. First one is 1, second option 2, C is 25 and E is 30. So among the 4 answers, you want to choose a correct answer. It's nothing but 25.
Got it.
Okay?
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. And one more thing. Now Johnson, you need to answer. I said 2 different types of lookups. Can you describe what are the 2 different types of lookups?
The 2 different types of lookups are parent-child
Okay,
and self-lookup.
good. And now we are going to see some concepts in parent-child lookup. See here, parent-child lookup is loosely coupled. Okay, here for example, I have account record ABC Private Limited, which is related with my purchase order ABC orders. See, it creates a reference link with the account record ABC Private Limited. Now can you tell me
Right.
which is a parent record and which is a child record, or you can call it detailed record? John, the answer which
Yeah,
is
I kind of lost you. I kind of lost you on that.
okay. See, here I'm telling account record is related with my purchase order object record.
Oh, with the purchase order. Okay.
Right? Here, which is a parent record and which is a child record or detailed record.
Well, the account would be, because it's, well, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. In Siebel, I know the account would be the parent,
Okay.
but here I don't know.
Okay, cool. Here, see, whenever you're creating a relationship, okay, in case of lookup or mass detail, from a child only we want to look for a parent. Why? Because child is depend on a parent, not a parent is depend on child. Here we created lookup field from purchase order object. Means purchase order is a detail or a child object which is looking for a parent object account. Johnson, you understood?
Can you repeat that part about the child not able to dependent on the parent? Can you say that again?
Yeah. See, under my purchase order object, so this is my purchase order. I'm
Right.
going to look for a record in my accounts object.
Right.
It means purchase order is my child object, right, which is going to look for a parent, or you can call it as a master object, which is account.
Okay.
So that's the reason I have created a lookup. Let me refresh the page. See, I have created a lookup to look for a record in an account object. Right? Now this account object is my parent, purchase order is my child.
So, Matthew, quickly. So, if on the purchase order object, okay,
Okay.
I created another lookup, okay. So, just for example, it's looking up for products,
Okay.
okay. So, would the product be the parent again?
Yeah. So in such cases, we'll call them as. Yeah. Right. You're right. So in such cases, we'll be calling, instead of parent, we'll be calling as a master object.
Okay. So the product, in my example, would be the master.
Yep. So hereafter, we're not going to refer as a parent or child. Instead of parent or child, we are going to introduce a terms called master and detail.
And the parent is the master and child is the detail.
Detail.
Okay.
Got it? So here, as you asked me, I'm going to create one more lookup relationship. See, where I'm creating from my purchase order, which is nothing but my detail object. I'm going to create one more lookup relationship. Lookup. Next, I'm going to relate with master. Here, based on your requirement, you need to select the object, which should be a master here. For example, I'm selecting campaign. Now, campaign act as a master object.
Okay.
Right? And the child name is nothing but purchase orders. Click next.
I got it. Thank you. I thank you very much for clarifying that. That was confusing for a few minutes.
Okay. See, now what happened? Again, if I go for purchase orders, click edit. See, I have got a new record. Account is ABC Private Limited. When I look for it, it will show my master records, and I can select California campaign, and I can save it.
Okay.
So,
can you go to the leads real quick? Leads tab real quick. I just want to use another example.
Okay.
So on the leads tab.
Okay. Tell me.
Can you create a new? There's a lookup for campaign. So the campaign is the master.
Yep.
And leads is the child.
Yep. Detail. You can call it as detail or child.
Okay.
Okay. And
so campaign is the master and detail leads is the detail.
Yes. Right? So it had created a relationship with a campaign object record. Okay. It's nothing but you can tell a reference. It's just a reference to a campaign object record. Right? And now what I'm trying to tell is here lookup relationship is loosely coupled. It means when you delete a parent record, right, child record will be existing as it is. There will be no changes in child record, only the value will be removed. You got my point?
Yeah, so if you can you try it? Can you try to delete California and see what happens?
See, I'm going to campaign. I delete this California campaign. Right? So come to purchase order. I'm just refreshing the page. Only this value will be removed from here. Right?
Okay.
But the child
Not the whole record.
Whole record will be, existing as it is.
Okay.
So it is also one important certificate point of view question. See? What happens when a parent record is deleted in parent-child model having a lookup relationship between parent and child objects? First option, child record are also deleted. The second option shows an error. Third option, can't delete the record. And fourth option, child records are not deleted. Now, tell me which is the right answer. Johnson?
It would be D.
Yep, right answer. This is what happens for lookup relationship. And the main difference in master detail relationship is when you delete a parent record, automatically child records are also deleted. You got it? It's of no. If you want to twist the question with instead of lookup, if I'm doing master detail,
then the child record will be deleted as well.
yes. So I'll be explaining you when I'm start taking this master detail. So if I'm starting master detail today, you'll be getting confused with what is lookup. So here for the day, I'll stop with this lookup relationship, this field type, and we'll see some other concepts instead of that. Okay. So my request is you try with some 5 to 6 lookup relationship with some other object, try to relate some other object records with your specific object and try to delete the parent record and check it whether a child record is existing. Alright, John?
Hey, sorry, I got disconnected.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, see, we are discussing what happens when a parent record is deleted in the parent-child model having a lookup relationship between parent-child objects. John, can you tell me which is the right option among these 4 options?
I would think it'd be the child records are not deleted, D, and they become orphan records.
Good. And we were discussed see, we do have one more relationship, data type, which is nothing but master detail relationship, right? So we will be discussing it in the next session, but the main difference is what happens when a parent-child or parent record is deleted in parent-child model having a, instead of lookup, if I'm telling master detail relationship. Okay, here what happens is in terms of master relationship, if a parent record is deleted, automatically child record also will be deleted. John, you understood what is the main difference between lookup and master detail? I'll be creating and showing you a master detail as well. As of now, I'm just giving you a certification point of view. The question will be twisted like this. Like they may ask you what happens when a parent record is deleted while using lookup relationship, and what happens when a parent record is deleted in master detail relationship. Okay.
Okay, and I'm sorry, and what happens to the child in a master relationship?
While using master relationship, if you delete a parent record, automatically child record also will be deleted.
So it's a cascade delete. Okay.
Yeah, that is tightly coupled relationship, you can tell.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. And one more objective for you. See, which of the following is not allowed? Here, if you are creating a relationship with your standard object as well as custom object, okay, you can place this custom object as a master and detail as a standard object is the first option. Second option is custom object as a master and again detail object as custom object. Means master and detail object can be a custom objects. You understood what the question is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
You're
I have
going.
no idea what the answer is.
I don't either.
Okay. See, if you are creating a relationship between standard objects and custom objects, okay, which one should be a master, which one should be a child? That is what a question. You understood?
Well, so I would say I will want to say that the master should be standard object.
Okay.
But that's not even an option.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Good. See, Johnson, right? You said the right answer. Answer is option A. Custom object cannot be a master when a detail object is, standard object. It's like,
Okay.
a basic configuration. Why? Because standard object should be always a master. Okay. Else, if you are making custom object as a master, then your detail object should also be a child, not your standard object. Are you confused?
So what if we need to look up something that's in a custom object?
Sorry, come again.
What if we need to look up something that's a custom object, like your purchase order? We need to reference a purchase order in, something.
See,
Oh, is that another lesson? Sorry.
okay. See, I'll explain this concept after completing the master relationship. So that time you'll be pretty clear, okay, with the relationship. So yeah, right now we complete only lookup. So it'll be like a bit confused for you, like which is a master, which is a detail, and how to use lookup and how to use master detail. So till this, you're pretty clear, or till this lookup relationship, you have any other doubts? John or Johnson, you have any doubts till this lookup relationships?
I think I'm okay.
Any doubts? Yeah, I'm a little fuzzy on it still. I have a feeling if I just play with it a little bit, I'll get it a little bit better.
Okay.
It's just, some of this is kind of new.
Okay. Okay, fine. See, today what we discussed is nothing but we have created our own new objects, fields by using all the data types. And we started with our relationship concept is nothing but lookup. And lookup has two different types. One is self lookup and one is, we can call it as parent and child lookup. And with this, we are going to continue master data relationship. But if you start today, you'll be getting a little bit confused, like with what is a lookup and what is a master detail. So what I suggest is you can practice till what is a lookup, and from tomorrow we can start a new session with our master relationship, and you can go for what is a many-to-many relationship as well. Is that fine for you?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll give some of the like scenario based. What you try to do, you create a purchase order object with minimum 10 to 15 fields. So tomorrow I'll be reviewing your screen, and I'll be checking what all the fields you had created and what all the field types you had used for object. Okay, Johnson?
Yes.
Okay.
Here in my purchase order, I have created only some 6 to 7 fields, right? So you are supposed to create minimum 10 to 15 fields by using data types like auto number or formula, pick list. See, here you might be knowing if I'm creating a new field, we are getting more than some 15 to 20 data types. Just think what all the fields are required, and you may choose which is required data type for the field, and try to create till lookup relationship. You can use auto number, formula. We can also use lookup relationship and checkbox till URL. What all the field types are required, you can start using it, and you can create a perfect object. Right? Any other questions you have for me?
I don't think so.
Just a real quick, just that question you just had, is that a master object, a parent can never be a custom object, right?
No, see, a parent can be a custom object. In such cases, all right, your detail object should also be your custom object. It is for only master
Okay, I
detail
got it.
relationship. Okay, you don't confuse with
Okay.
that. When we go for master detail, I'll be explaining you much on this, because we are right now in lookup
Okay.
relationship. I don't want to confuse with those kind of relationships. Okay, because
Okay, I got it.
I actually planned for today's session is still many-to-many relationships. Since we didn't complete our master detail, so here questions were here and there. Okay, so tomorrow we'll review these objectives again. So that time you will be getting a clear understanding, like what is lookup relationship, what is master detail, what is many-to-many relationship. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So thanks much for your time, John.
All right. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thanks so much. So we'll be meeting you tomorrow. Yeah. Have a
Good
nice
night.
Have a nice night. Bye.